And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The 423 Football Podcast is back. Here today to give you our Week 4 preview. Last episode, we talked our Week 3 recap, but this is our Week 4 preview. We will go through each and every matchup, break down everything that's going on in the NFL right now, give you some starts and sits at the very end. Obviously, starts and sits are the big value we will be providing you. I'm your host, Brandon Bouchard, joined here again by Brett Hamilton.
Hello.
And once again, we are without Peyton Light. Looks like we're going to be without him this entire week, unfortunately. He's out there raking sludge at his engineering job, Mr. Big Shot over there.
Peyton's a boomer bust week to week.
He's a boomer bust sludge master, if you will. But anyway, if you listen to our last show, that's where we broke down all the news, basically all the injuries that are going on in the NFL right now. Definitely go back and listen to that one if you haven't already. But yeah, this show, like I said, breaking down each matchup for Week 4. But first, we're going to jump into a little running back redraft segment. I don't know, it's been a crazy first couple of weeks in the NFL. A lot of things not going as planned, and a lot of breakout guys. The rookie running backs right now are going off, and they are really shining. So, going to do a running back redraft. So we'll just go back and forth between Brett and I, picking who we would take.
So this is based on knowledge that we have now,
yes,
after Week 3 for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
If we had to redraft today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, start it off. You want the first pick, Brett? Go ahead.
I'll take the first pick. I'm still going to go Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that. All right, Le'Veon off the board. All right, my pick. I went back and forth on this a few times.
I'm interested.
But honestly, I think I'm going to go and stick with it. I'm going to go Kareem Hunt.
Oh man, that was a good pick. I was going back. I would have gone back and forth between him and Zeke. That's a huge comparison right now. And honestly, I don't know.
Kareem is looking good, man.
Yeah, just everything. I want to say like he can't sustain it, but I don't know. Maybe he can.
Maybe.
All right, so we've got Le'Veon Bell and Kareem Hunt off the board. I am gonna have to go with Zeke.
Zeke, yeah. No argument there. Yeah. Now it gets dicey. Now we're getting into the tough stuff.
Golly.
Here, just because I like the offense so much and the consistency that he brings, I'm going to go Devonta Freeman.
Devonta Freeman, that is
number
a good
4.
one.
Number 4, Devonta Freeman.
I like that. It's getting dicey.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go Ty Montgomery.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
I have full faith in him going forward.
I like that. Again, I do like those. Obviously, there's some other running backs that you might look ahead of him, but just because that offense is so
and that's
prolific,
what I'm looking at. It's such a high-powered offense. Points are going to be scored. I don't think he can sustain what he's doing now, but I think that he is the guy to own.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't expecting that, but I can see if you were to go that direction. At number 6, I'm gonna go Melvin Gordon.
I like it. Yeah,
he's the clear-cut guy in that backfield. He's and the offense is pretty good despite their 0-3 record right now, but they've lost by 2 missed field goals. And I definitely see them getting back on track, and Melvin Gordon's definitely the focal point of the offense.
Next, I'm going to go with LaShawn McCoy.
Shady.
I gotta take Shady. It's not been an incredible start to the season, but Buffalo did look good this past weekend. I think he's going to stay on track. It's still Shady.
All right. Ooh, we're getting
it's getting deep.
Yeah, there's so many guys that are just like, I don't know, they're almost like they can't keep this up, or they're injury prone or something. Just different sticky situations. But
yeah,
I'm going back and forth between 2 guys right now, but I think I'm gonna stick with Jay Ajayi. I like the work that he's getting, and he's obviously the only guy in that backfield right now.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about this last week.
Yeah, obviously not a great week last week, but yeah. I don't expect
that was a whole team fail.
Yeah, I don't expect that poor production to last.
I am going to have to go with Leonard Fournette.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, I think the workload is there, and
them rookies, man.
I know they're really busting it up.
Oh, now I'll let you help me with this last pick. This will round out the top 10. So I got one rookie here. I got let's see, Todd Gurley, who's been blowing up so far, but has a tough schedule from here on out, so maybe not the best pick moving forward. And then got DeMarco Murray, who's been borderline, almost we think that transitioning's about to happen with him and Derrick Henry.
Which had a great game this past week, but if you look at the touches, it was pretty close.
Yeah.
As far as like splitting time, I mean, we could be in a full-out timeshare at this point.
Yeah, and honestly, if DeMarco didn't have that huge 75-yard run,
yeah, he padded the stats with that.
Yeah, so I think we'll cross out DeMarco for there.
Yeah.
I did have Carlos Hyde, but I'm kind of, I don't know, just the offense I don't think is as good as Gurley or Dalvin Cook, who was my other rookie I was thinking about.
I was going back and forth between Fournette and Dalvin for my last pick.
Ooh, so
my choice, if I were you, would be Dalvin. I have full faith in him right now.
Okay, I will go Dalvin Cook.
Nice.
Just because, not to say Gurley isn't the only guy in his backfield, because he clearly is, but Gurley's schedule coming up is really, really tough, and Dalvin Cook's got a little bit easier of a ride. All right, so that rounds up the top 10 of our running back redraft. I'll run through them one more time. First, we got Le'Veon, then we got Kareem Hunt, Ezekiel Elliott, Devonta Freeman, Ty Montgomery, Melvin Gordon, LaShawn McCoy, Jay Ajayi, Leonard Fournette, and Dalvin Cook rounding out the top 10. So, I don't know. If you were to look at this list as a from here on out basis, if you're looking to maybe buy or sell some of these guys, hopefully this will give you a foundation to do so.
Think about how different that draft was between now and before week 1. I mean, it's like, I'm sure that every year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, DeMarco was obviously in the top 10. We had Jordan Howard in the top 10 before. David Johnson, obviously, in the top 10 before. Obviously, he's hurt now.
But the newcomers, Ty Montgomery and Kareem Hunt.
Oh, my.
And Dalvin.
Yeah, and Dalvin.
And Leonard.
Yeah. I mean, no, I don't think anyone expected Kareem Hunt to be. I mean, some people are looking at him. Honestly, I could easily see you taking, or somebody taking Kareem Hunt number 1 over Le'Veon right now.
It was tempting.
Yeah.
I still believe in Le'Veon, but they've got to get on track.
Yeah, definitely. All right, gonna move into our Week 4 preview. If you've been listening to the past couple of weeks, you know how this whole routine goes. We'll break down every matchup, give you some starts and sits at the very end. All right, so Bears and Packers, Thursday Night Football, playing in Lambeau. Both teams coming off impressive overtime wins.
Yep.
Both of them coming down to the wire. From the Packers side of the ball, you're pretty much starting all your Packers. It's that high-profile offense. Good signs. Randall Cobb, full participant in practice this week, so he's looking good to go. If you're a Geronimo Allison owner, not sure how relevant he'll be with Cobb back.
I'd like to see this week will be interesting, especially if Randall Cobb is back. I want to see how Geronimo, if he's going to fit into this offense. There's just a lot of mouths to feed when everyone's healthy, but I mean they do have issues staying healthy. So
yeah, and that offense can support more than one fancy relevant wide receiver. It's just,
they've done it before. I mean, it's usually Jordy and either Devontae or Randall.
Well, yeah, there's usually like 3 guys that can sustain it, and then fourth guy is kind of pushed. It's kind of hard to get that fourth guy all that production.
Yeah.
And again, left tackle David Bakhtiari, he resumes practicing. So if that offensive line gets healthy, it's only going to make the offense just better in general. One more thing to mention on the Packers side of the ball, Martellus Bennett has looked horrendous.
He's got a couple of catches this year.
Yeah, I think he has more drops than receptions, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's to that point.
It's looked bad.
At some point, I mean, Aaron Rodgers has never been one to certainly over-target
tight ends.
Yeah. So that's just gonna hurt him.
Yeah, I wish. I mean, me being a Packer fan, obviously, I pay attention to this a lot more, but I still love Richard Rodgers and his ability to catch the ball.
I like Richard.
He
Rodgers
might not be the
lot.
fastest guy or most athletic guy, but he's reliable.
He's got bucket feet, but he'll catch the ball.
Yeah, but he will catch the ball. On the Bears side of the ball, really the only fantasy relevance going on right now are the running backs.
Yeah.
Jordan Howard. I guess you could say he's back. 26 points in this game. I don't expect that sort of production again, really. No. I still like Tariq Cohen a lot.
Yeah.
If you watch that game, Tariq Cohen was still heavily involved in that offense. Yeah. And like we said in the last show, if not for the crap call that cost Tariq Cohen the overtime touchdown, it'd be a much different story. Honestly, they'd be about I think they both have about 15 fantasy points if that were to occur. But yeah, Packers and Bears coming up on Thursday Night Football. Who you got?
I've got the Packers.
Packers.
I think it'll be a low-scoring game. They both came off overtime play, and it's a Thursday night game. They may still be feeling it.
and not to mention this past week, both these teams in Green Bay and Chicago, I think it was record highs, like temperature-wise. It was in the 90s for both games.
Wow.
Record highs for both of those stadiums.
That's crazy.
But this Thursday night game is supposed to be down in the 50s, so that's Wisconsin weather there.
Quite the change in temperature.
Yeah, and obviously we both picked the Packers for this game, but our weekly pick Brett's pulling away by a mile right now, and we'll get Peyton's picks in later. Hopefully, obviously he's not here today, so hopefully he'll get his in this week.
So we'll move on into our next matchup. We've got the Saints and Dolphins coming at you at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from London.
Wembley Stadium.
Another Wembley Stadium. People are going to be on the West Coast waking up and seeing all kinds of points already.
God, I never thought about that. Hey, if I lived on the West Coast, that'd be perfect for me. I'm up till 3, 4 a.m. anyway.
Yeah, that would be perfect for you.
Hopefully this game will be better than last week's London game. Because
what a twist. Oh, man. I just can't believe the Ravens played so bad. What happened to their defense?
I don't know.
They had the best defense going into that game.
Yeah. Well, granted, they played the Bengals when they were garbage, and then Browns.
That's fair enough. But they were looking great before that. I mean,
yeah.
I just wanted
to getting back to this game, Saints and Dolphins. Saints coming off dominant performance over the Panthers.
Right.
Again, Panthers or Saints had the tough game against the Patriots, and the Panthers really had 2 easier games, week 1 and week 2. But the Saints looked so much better. And Dolphins coming off that miserable game against the Jets. So highs and lows across the board for this game. Saints a much worse defense than the Jets, I will say. Jets aren't that great. I do want Jamal Adams. If you got to see any of that game, man, he looks good.
That was fun to watch.
I loved watching him in LSU, and hopefully it'll keep up in the NFL. But Dolphins I expect to bounce back in this game. I like a lot of players in this game, actually. Fantasy gold mine, if you will. So
you're predicting a high-scoring game.
Yeah, start everybody. I
start everyone but the defenses, apparently.
Yeah, and Adrian Peterson. Who we got winning this game? Saints or Dolphins?
This was a tough one for me to call.
Yeah, it was back and forth.
I think the Dolphins are going to come back.
All right, I got the Saints.
All right, that'll be a good one.
All right, Bills and Falcons. Bills had an impressive showing, beating the Broncos in Buffalo, while the Falcons snuck by the Lions on a crazy last-second reverse call where Golden Tate was ruled down shy of the goal line, just barely, just adds to the Lions' heartbreak. Must be tough to be a Lions fan. I'm glad I'm not one.
But I thought you loved the Lions.
On the Bills side of the ball, Tyrod Taylor, he needs to be owned. The fact that he is just no respect given to that man whatsoever. I think he's one of the most underrated players in fantasy. The fact that he can run like he does, and he can still get it done through the air. Obviously,
he has up and down games through the air.
Yeah, his lack of weapons are kind of discouraging. But I do think even against this Falcons have a pretty good defense, but even against the Falcons, I think there's points to be had, mainly due to the fact that he's probably going to have to run quite a bit. Obviously, you're starting LaShawn McCoy. Still like Charles Clay, like I said, limited pass catchers in that Bills offense. And then on the Falcons side of the ball, you're pretty much starting all your Falcons every week. Matt Ryan, Julio, Devonta Freeman, Tevin Coleman. Anyone outside of that you want to possibly mention?
I don't know. Deep sleeper, Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah. He has looked better the past couple weeks.
He has. I mean, the opportunity is there for him. I don't know that I'm confident enough to start him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, there's
it's a high-powered offense,
yeah.
and guys will have good weeks. Taylor Gabriel's another guy that could possibly have a good week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bills and Falcons. I got the Falcons.
I also have the Falcons. Yep.
Easy there.
Yeah. We're going to move on to our next game, the Bengals and the Browns. It's going to be a great one.
Battle of the Bees.
What are you looking at in this Bengals-Browns game, Brandon?
Well, mainly that the Bengals are trying to confirm that the Bengals are back to what they can do. Obviously, you had the good showing in Lambeau last week.
Right.
Meanwhile, the Browns fell to the Andrew Luckless Colts.
Andrew Luckless.
Luckless. But yeah, Joe Mixon appears to be the guy in that Bengals backfield, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on that this week.
Yeah.
That'll be good to see if that carries over to this next game.
Yeah, he had 21 touches last week. No other running back had over 8. So good signs there. And Browns not a formidable defense at all. But obviously you're starting A.J. Green. Andy Dalton, I kind of liked a little bit in this game.
I could see that.
Yeah, but
he got a lot of hate this year.
There's still no Tyler Eifert. Again, the Bengals pass catchers are kind of I think there's value there. Brandon LaFell had a really good year last year. I just think they're still trying to get back on track, and those lower tiered receivers aren't going to get. They're not going to be there yet. It might take a little while. On the Browns side of the ball, just proceed with caution. Starting your Browns players, it's not everyone's going into the year with that offensive line and new weapons, and it's like, oh, this is exciting. They're going to have fantasy relevance and relevance. I almost said
relevance. Relevant elephants.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, Deshaun Kaiser, 3 interceptions in this last game, but he had 22 fantasy points. So the fact that he's running the ball and they can somewhat move the ball is a good sign. Definitely like Deshaun Kaiser in 2 quarterback leagues or deeper leagues.
Yeah.
Now, the running backs are getting kind of dicey. As if you listen to that last show, we talked about how dynamic Duke Johnson was and how little production Isaiah Crowell is getting. So moving forward, who would you really like to own in a standard league? Because obviously PPR, you'd rather have Duke Johnson, I assume.
Even in standard league, I'd still rather have Duke Johnson. I'm not playing the Crow this week. He's
moving towards that.
Yeah, I would feel more confident in this matchup playing Duke Johnson rather than the Crow.
So sad.
It's painful, but I mean, I've just seen a lot of good from Duke Johnson.
Duke is he can be a feature back. Honestly, he's like Tevin Coleman in the fact that he's a backup, yes, and he's like the pass catcher, yes.
Yeah.
But if he was given a starting role, I think it'd be really, really good.
Yeah. Well, people are starting Tariq every week, so
I
don't see why that could be any different, especially with bye weeks coming up. He's a good person to have on your bench because I have no trouble starting him if in place of a bye week.
Definitely. And just going back to Joe Mixon, I know in our our ESPN league that we have, not our league of record, I traded last week Buck Allen for Joe Mixon before the game last week, so I was thrilled about that.
Yeah, that honestly, I mean, I really like Buck Allen going forward. I didn't think that was an awful trade either way. I think it has more upside for you getting Joe Mixon.
Definitely. That's my fantasy MVP. That guy's going to win me there.
Yeah, especially if he really is the fantasy MVP. So that was a good trade. If you can still buy low on Joe Mixon, I would do it.
Yeah. Your time is running out.
Yes.
Yeah. I got the Bengals winning this game.
I also have the Bengals.
Bengals.
Sorry, Browns.
Oh. All right, Rams and Cowboys. Todd Gurley appears to be back. The numbers look like he's back, but granted,
this is a good matchup for him.
But
coming up,
this is the last good matchup. He had Indy, he had Washington, San Francisco, now Dallas. Dallas isn't that. They don't have a really good defense. DeMarcus Lawrence looked fantastic on Monday night. I will say that, but he's a pass rusher.
Yes,
he's not a run stopper.
No.
But coming up, the rest of the season, he plays Seattle twice. He's got Jacksonville, Arizona twice, Giants, Houston, Minnesota, and Tennessee. There's some strong run defenses in there, and definitely not an Indianapolis or San Fran or Washington.
Well, I threw up a little bit while you were reading that list off, but I still think if Todd Gurley has another boom game, do you sell him high?
I'm selling him high. I'm still selling him high right now. Like I said, if you going back to our running back redraft, obviously we didn't even draft Gurley at this point, and I definitely think you could trade Gurley for a Jai or maybe LaShawn McCoy. Definitely Ty Montgomery. Someone would take that in a heartbeat. But I'm still definitely trying to get something for Todd Gurley because there's no way. There's no way. I mean,
it's tough.
He's looked fantastic.
Even if he is better, I think he definitely has improved from last season. But even so, that is just a brutal matchup.
Yeah, coming up. Sammy Watkins, I like him in this game. Again, Cowboys defense, not that impressive. He showed that he could, or Jared Goff is willing to throw the ball downfield to Sammy Watkins.
And Jared Goff realized who his best wide receiver is.
Yeah. And again, going towards Jared Goff, I do like him as a deep league play right now. 2 quarterback leagues maybe.
I can see it.
Yeah, but he had 22 points this week. Obviously, that game got out of hand very, very quickly. But I just want to point out the fact that Jared Goff I think he's the least owned startable quarterback right now. Tony Romo is owned in more leagues in NFL.com than Jared Goff.
Yeah, I was going through the NFL the ownership percentage. It was disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Tony Romo, he's an announcer, a really good announcer, by the way.
Shout out to Tony Romo. Tony Romo is killing it as an announcer.
This was a good business decision for him.
I am loving Tony Romo.
Yeah.
But getting away from the point. Ezekiel Elliott, underperforming so far, considering his draft stock, the stock you put into him. Yeah.
And we still got another hearing coming up. I know we're tired of talking about it. I'm tired of reading about it, but
October is it?
It's next week. He's guaranteed to play this week.
I think. You're right.
It's October 2nd, I believe.
God, I'm sick and tired of that.
There's still an option to. I mean,
he can be suspended.
It's still on the table to be suspended for 6 games. If that happens, Darren McFadden or Alfred Morris.
Darren McFadden's dealing with some injuries right now.
Right.
I still think he's the guy, but I would much rather. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, yes, I'm going after Darren McFadden if that's the case. But if I was the Cowboys, if I was Jason Garrett, I would roll Alfred Morris. He gets so much hate. He's a good running back. I don't get it.
I like Alfred Morris a lot, and I think he's underutilized.
Yeah. Des Bryant again being bailed out with these touchdowns. He can't do anything between the 20s. He's just touchdown dependent right now, and it's sad to say he can't go up against these number 1 corners. So, just
unless the entire team is covering him, which is how he scored his touchdown.
Yeah, I guess if you get every single person on Des, he will score. But
Rams is a tough matchup for him, though.
Yeah, Rams not the best matchup. So, who you got winning this game, Brett? Rams or Cowboys?
I've been pretty back and forth on it, but I think I'm going to go with the boys at home.
Them boys. I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going with the Rams.
I like it. I can see it. So, the next matchup we're going to be going over is the Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings.
Divisional games. A lot of divisional games this week, actually.
Right, yeah. And Sam Bradford's probably not going to be playing. It's going to be another Case Keenum, who just came off a really good week against the Buccaneers. Sad face, but I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about this game?
I think it's going to be a really, really good game. One of the better games of the week, actually. Both teams have pretty good defenses and apparently pretty good offenses as well. like you said, probably no Sam Bradford, but Case Keenum did perfectly fine last week, throwing 3 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen are getting the job done as the pass catchers.
Yeah, even with Case Keenum, I'm still comfortable starting them now.
Yeah, obviously Stephon Diggs, the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy right now. But again, temper expectations. He did this last year, and we saw him fall off. I don't really like him this week. He's going up against Darius Slay, who has been shut down all year.
Well, how do you not shut down with that last name?
Slay.
He literally slays.
He will slay Stephon Diggs. I like Dalvin Cook in this game.
I like Dalvin Cook in most games.
Yeah. At this point, you're pretty much rolling him out every game. I do like Adam Thielen, mainly because Diggs will probably be covered by Slay this game.
Right.
On the Lions side of the ball, Golden Tate and Matthew Stafford are pretty much the only Lions I'm comfortable starting every week in and week out. Marvin Jones will get his sometimes. Theo Riddick will get his. Eric Ebron maybe even. Honestly, Ebron might be a good tight end to own at this point just because of the tight end injuries.
Yeah, just because tight ends. But Golden Tate's gonna. I think he's gonna be the only. I want to say consistent, but it's kind of hard to pick a consistent wide receiver on the Lions. Yeah. But just because he's getting the looks and he's getting the targets, and that's the thing. Especially in PPR, he is the one to own.
Yeah. I got the Lions winning this game. Who you got?
I've got the Vikings.
Ooh, we're splitting a bunch of these today. All right, moving on. Panthers and Patriots. Kelvin Benjamin may miss this game with a knee injury. Something to monitor going forward. Definitely not a good sign for Cam, as we said in the last episode. Cam is pretty much...
Cam himself is a bad sign for Cam.
he's nearly unrosterable. If that's a word. Unrosterable at this point, especially with the lack of weapons. Yeah. Obviously, no Greg Olsen right now. If Kelvin misses time, who is he going to throw to? Devin Funchess. He is not going to get it done. I'm sorry.
No.
But I guess turn to the running backs. Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Stewart both had 13 touches in this game. McCaffrey, impressive with 9 catches, over 100 yards. He did have one really big reception in that game that kind of, I guess, skewed it. But I'm not going to take that away from him. But I'm still really wary starting either of these guys. If in a PPR league, I do like McCaffrey a lot. Yeah. But in standard, honestly, I'm kind of avoiding both of these guys as starts. I still think Jonathan Stewart will get goal line quite a bit.
I think in this matchup, the only Patriot that I would be... not the only Patriot. I like all the Patriots. Yeah. The only Panther that I would consider starting is McCaffrey. I really think this may be a good opportunity week for him to shine. I still think they're going to pull out the L, but but I think that he may be the shining star of that team this week.
But like you said, moving on to the Patriots, had a kind of a shocking showing last week. Texans nearly pulled away with that one. Deshaun Watson
in Foxborough.
Yeah,
how bad would that be?
Tom Brady's going to do what he does.
Yeah, I mean, he led an amazing comeback.
Yeah, that defense looks vulnerable right now.
It does. It's strange, but they're playing.
It's similar to the Packers in the fact that the offense is so good and the defense is kind of meh. It's just meh.
But they are playing the Panthers this week.
Yeah,
with possibly no Kelvin and definitely no Greg Olsen.
Yeah, so you're going to have to start your Patriots. However, some will bust. Like we said, Brandon Cooks. This might be another week. Obviously, it's a good matchup.
It is a good matchup for Brandon Cooks.
But he could bust, and it could be another guy.
I still like all Hulk Hogan.
I like Chris Hogan. I like Chris Hogan a lot. They seem to like him a lot. But as you can probably tell, we're both taking the Patriots. I assume
I'm taking the Patriots.
Yep, Patriots.
All right, our next matchup is the Jaguars versus the Jets. The Jaguars coming off dominating performance in London. They went through some sort of crazy time warp spatial universe. It's just something happened to them that allowed them to put up 44 points on the Ravens.
Blake Bortles, something happened to Blake Bortles. I don't know.
He had 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns.
No one expected that. I mean, it was just a crazy game. It's gonna be interesting, but the Jets just came off a big win for them too.
Yeah, definitely. Both defenses looked impressive in their last games. Obviously, on the Jaguars side of the ball, you're starting Leonard Fournette. He's the Jaguar to own at this point. Blake Bortles, maybe a sneaky play. I don't know. He could continue that. We saw that, or we've seen the past couple of years, Blake Bortles has had fantasy relevance. Yeah. Obviously, a lot of it being garbage time, but 4 touchdowns, I don't know where that came from. But
no, the Jets still don't have a great defense. I mean, they did hold the Dolphins to 1. Like, if there was the king of garbage time plays, that would have been the entire last drive of the Miami Dolphins. Like, that was purely
Devontae Parker, baby.
That was just
I loved it.
Every play.
Yeah.
Just throw it to him.
Hey, I mean, that's what he does. But
they just didn't want to get shut out.
Yeah, but back to the Jaguars and Jets. I still like Marquise Lee over everyone else. Obviously, he was on our waiver wire section last episode. Don't chase after Mercedes Lewis.
But he had so many points.
3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. But I don't expect that again. Honestly, I don't see Mercedes Lewis getting. Honestly, that might be his total for the year, 3. On the Jets side of the ball, Matt Forte could miss time with a toe injury. So something to watch there. I do think Bilal Powell, is a very, very good running back. He just hasn't been getting work or the work that he should. And obviously Matt Forte's been forcing, I guess, that.
He's been Matt Forte.
Yeah. But he could have decent value if Forte sits, especially in PPR.
Yes.
Jaguars defense should easily handle the Jets offense, however.
Yeah.
I expect this to be kind of a lopsided affair, honestly, even though the Jets showed that they could do something last week.
They showed signs of life, but I think the Jaguars, man, coming off that week.
Yeah, so
crazy.
Who you got, Jaguars?
Jaguars.
Yeah. All right, Steelers and the Ravens. Both teams coming off losses. Ravens didn't even show up in London. Steelers had that brutal overtime loss to the Bears. Slow start for the Steelers thus far, which is kind of shocking.
It is. I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, but I mean, you're starting most of your Steelers players regardless. However, I mean, we saw it last week. The home road split thing it's real.
It's crazy. I did read something. The only thing that they may have linked this anomaly to is whenever Big Ben plays away, he plays more snaps under center instead of shotgun. When you just statistically, it is significant. So maybe he feels more comfortable in shotgun.
What?
I don't know. Maybe if
That's
it's
so
like
weird.
It's like an audible thing, like he can't hear unless he's right under the center. I don't know.
It's so weird because the rest of the team, like Antonio Brown had a great week last week. Le'Veon had a good week, but Ben had an awful week. I don't understand why it doesn't.
That's the closest they've come to linking it, but
yeah, it doesn't correlate. But Ravens, I expect them to do better than they did last week. You can't get much worse, giving up 4 touchdowns to Blake Bortles, as we mentioned earlier.
Joe Flacco would have been more productive if he just sat the whole game.
Yeah. But Ben is away, so if you're a Ben Roethlisberger owner, I would honestly recommend going and find a QB streamer for this week.
Yeah.
Ravens, they handled the Browns in week 2 and beat the Bengals in week 1. But obviously, awful game this last week. So I'm starting to stray away from any Ravens players, honestly.
Yeah.
Terrence West looked good for a while. He was dealing with the injuries, and now Buck Allen's the guy. I'm kind of cooling on Buck Allen as well. I just don't think I really don't think they have really that much talent on that offense at all.
Yeah.
I think Joe Flacco's a decent quarterback, but I don't think they have a talented running back. I think they have a bunch of old receivers that are no longer relevant in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much done with all Ravens players. I do like Buck Allen in PPR for the fact that he's going to catch balls and he's going to get touches. Yeah. But aside from that, I really don't like the.
I don't like any of the receivers.
No, I don't. As much, I was loving Mike Wallace, and
I was too. I was all on board.
I was hating on Macklin. I got one of those right. So I don't know. Just moving forward, Steelers and Ravens. I got the Steelers.
I also have the Steelers. So Titans versus Texans. This is I'm pretty excited about this game.
Yeah, another divisional matchup.
It's another divisional matchup. I just like watching the Titans play every week. I mean, it's
exciting.
It's an exciting
and
team.
Dangerous.
It is, yeah, it is. But Deshaun Watson, obviously, he's a threat now. I mean, he hasn't shown a lot in the passing game yet. He really likes DeAndre Hopkins, which is good. But he has the running ability. And same with Marcus Mariota.
Matchup of two very high-profile running college quarterbacks.
Yeah, so that's going to be really interesting to watch. What are you looking at in this game?
Well, on the Titans side of the ball, DeMarco Murray obviously showed up in the box score last week, pretty big with that long touchdown run. But he only had one more touch than Derrick Henry. It's very similar. So just keep an eye on that. Derrick Henry, we do believe at some point this season he will take over, and it'll be his job for the rest of time in Tennessee.
The rest of time.
He can't age. He is a freak. For the Tennessee pass catchers, just Corey Davis still dealing with the hamstring. I think there's optimism that he will play in Week 4.
Yeah.
But just keep an eye on that. I do like Corey Davis the most out of all the pass catchers, but if he's
I do.
out...
He's built from the snaps that he has played, he's built a good connection with Marcus Mariota.
And I think that
going
super
forward,
talented.
Yeah, going forward, I think he's the guy to own. He's just got to stay healthy.
Yeah, but Rashard Matthews, if Corey Davis is out, I like Rashard Matthews. On the Texans side of the ball, again coming off that close game with the Patriots, and if they can hang with the Patriots, they can hang with anybody. In theory, Deshaun Watson looked impressive. He threw 2 picks, but he looked really good. The running ability is there, and that's really going to be where the value stems from. DeAndre Hopkins, obvious number 1 in Houston, but pay attention, maybe very deep league sleeper. Bruce Ellington.
We're talking like 22-team leagues.
Yeah. He had 8 targets in this game, and he had a huge preseason. So maybe a name to keep an eye on. Now, Lamar Miller. We talked about Deontay Foreman earlier. Are you worried for Lamar Miller with Foreman and Deshaun Watson really taking carries away from him?
Lamar Miller keeps me up at night, so I don't know. I think that as the season goes on, these next couple of games are really going to define what role they have Lamar Miller and Deontay Foreman in. Deontay is seeing more and more snaps, and they're utilizing him more and more in that offense. And I think they're just trying to cut back on Lamar Miller's carries, which I also think could be beneficial for Lamar, because when he does play, the snaps he is in for, he's going to be more effective, I think. I think that's more of his style. He's not built to play every single down and power it through the hole. That's more of Deontay Foreman's style, honestly. So I think I'm not worried in the fact that I don't think Deontay Foreman is going to be the starter and Lamar Miller is going to sit on the bench. Mm-hmm. But we're probably going to see a decrease in carries for Lamar.
Yeah, and a lot of teams are moving to this 2-back system anyway. So
which is awful for fantasy.
Yeah.
Unless you have Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman.
All right, I got the Titans winning this game.
Titans all the way.
I loving the Titans.
Yeah.
49ers and Cardinals, another divisional matchup. 49ers coming off a long week after a shootout with the Rams, so good to have rest after that heavy hitting game. Carlos Hyde must start running back as long as he's healthy. He's looking good.
He's looked really good
thus far. Hopefully he stays away from the injuries.
Yeah, the injury bug has plagued him in the past.
Yeah, Pierre Garçon. I don't know this for sure, but I think he's going to be shadowed by Patrick Peterson. Peterson took away Dez Bryant last week.
Except for that one play.
Except for that one play. But Niners really don't have many pass catchers aside from Pierre Garçon. So I'm not liking Garçon. Obviously, he had the big week last week. John Brown on the Cardinals side of the ball, not likely to play again this week. Although Cardinals finally showed up last week.
They did.
Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald had a huge game.
Larry Legend.
He's obviously the guy. There's no question. There should have never been any question.
No.
Now, J.J. Nelson was the big guy I talked about last week. I don't even think he got a catch in this game, honestly.
I don't believe so. He was targeted a couple of times, but there was one One was a penalty. It got called back, and then he dropped one.
Yeah, so definitely not what we were thinking out of the Cardinals pass catchers. But Jerron Brown, another name to mention. I think he did get in the end zone this game. So, honestly, outside of Larry, it's going to be kind of random who gets the ball, I believe. I'm
not confident in either one now.
Yeah. Chris Johnson will start week 4. That's already been reported. When it comes to the running backs, though, I believe Andre Ellington's the more talented guy. I think he's the best pass catcher, the playmaker. I think he's going to be featured more and more, and eventually I think he will take over that role from Chris Johnson. Now, I still think it's going to be more of a committee regardless, so I'm kind of staying away from all these guys, but if I was, especially in a PPR, because Andre Ellington catches balls out of the backfield, I think he had 5 catches in this last game.
I don't think Andre Ellington has really the ability to be the guy. I think he's more of the pass catcher, not the ground and pound kind of guy that you may be looking for in a running back.
I just know they're missing David Johnson. That's all I know.
Me too.
All right. So I got the Cardinals in this one. How do you got?
I've got the Cardinals.
All right.
It was close. I kind of like the 49ers in this game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game, honestly.
Yeah, that'll be one we'll be watching. Next game we're going to be talking about is the not the Cardinals. We just
did that.
We just talked about the Cardinals. We're going to talk about the Eagles and the Chargers. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is going to be playing in this game. But Chargers are at home. Darren Sproles is out. Kind of a lot in the air. LeGarrette Blount is LeGarrette Blount. What do you see from a fantasy perspective for this game?
Well, again, with the Eagles, like you said, LeGarrette Blount, he actually got carries last week, so maybe a good sign coming forward.
Hey, our dollar bet is looking a little brighter.
Yeah, our dollar bet over under 4.5 touchdowns for LeGarrette, so maybe he gets that.
He's got to get just a couple more.
That's all you're good for, LeGarrette. You're good for $1. But the primary benefactor of Sproles going down is going to be Wendell Smallwood.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch him this week.
LeGarrette Blount's not the pass catcher. Wendell Smallwood is definitely going to be that guy. I think he's a must-own right now, especially if you were a Sproles owner and you need another guy to pick up. Alshon Jeffrey likely to be covered by Casey Hayward in this game. As you heard this past week, Jason Verrett is going to be out again for the season, but I do think Casey Hayward is going to pretty much shut down Alshon Jeffrey. I've been hating on Alshon all year. I don't think he's that great of a receiver, honestly. He's kind of injury prone. Granted, he's healthy right now.
Yep.
But I do think he has a poor showing this game. Zach Ertz, as we mentioned, continues his consistent play. He's getting 9 points a game right now. That's perfect for tight ends. And tight ends on the Chargers side of the ball, moving towards that. Hunter Henry didn't even catch a ball, I don't even think he had a target this game. Not a single target.
No, he did not have a target. No.
What on earth?
Which is disgusting. I'm done with him.
I hate it. It's not.
I'm done.
You can't be though, because the week before he had a perfectly fine game.
No, I'm done. If you're just gonna be up and down like that, I mean,
that's what all tight ends are, though.
They are all tight ends, but I mean, you're talking about a zero burger. Can you start someone who just got 0 targets?
That's
rough, disgusting.
But I don't know. You can't. I have no idea how to predict which Chargers tight end is going to get the targets, and it should just. Antonio Gates, I love you, man. You are a great tight end. You were an all-time great tight end, but go away. Just go away and let Hunter Henry come in and be better than. Give him a chance to be better than you.
At least give him targets.
But yeah, Melvin Gordon. He's really the only consistent guy on the Chargers offense at this point. Keenan Allen, Phillip Rivers looked to bounce back. Had a pretty tough matchup last week, so
it was.
Hopefully, they'll get back on track. Eagles defense has a ton of injuries right now in the secondary.
Almost as much as the Buccaneers.
Yeah, especially in the secondary. So monitor those injuries when debating starting your Chargers pass catchers and even Phillip Rivers, because there's a big difference in like Ronald Darby. Especially playing and possibly shadowing Keenan Allen. And him not playing, because I think Jalen Mills, their backup, he's been the most targeted corner in the league so far this year, and he'll just get picked apart if Ronald Darby isn't playing. So it's really a situation where if the Eagles' defense gets their secondary pieces back, then temper expectations with Keenan Allen. But if they're not back, Keenan Allen is a full go, and I really like him this week. But yeah, I went back and forth on this one, my pick for this one. But I think I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I like them. I don't think they're going 0-4.
I also have the Chargers.
All right. Me. Giants and Buccaneers. Giants, a completely different team with a healthy Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Can you get, aside from Odell Beckham, can you give me like a ranking of the other Giants pass catchers? Obviously, we got Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, Brandon Marshall. Just rank those three for me.
Shepard, Ingram, Brandon Marshall.
That's exactly how I have it too.
Really?
Yeah, exactly like that.
I'm sorry, Brandon Marshall.
Yeah,
not getting a whole lot of love from us.
At least he got a few catches last week, but I still don't think it's very promising.
I still like Evan Ingram.
I like Evan Ingram a lot.
I think he's a great tight end, especially in the year of disappointing tight end play.
Yeah. And Sterling Shepard obviously coming off that huge week. He's a very good receiver. As he's not like the guy who can go out there and be a number one, but when you have Odell Beckham on the other side taking away defenders, Sterling Shepard can really show something. Giants running backs not worth owning. I don't think Paul Perkins is droppable. Orleans Darkwa has been talked about, but
deep sleeper,
deep sleeper there.
I just don't. Maybe even if he does have the talent, they just can't support a run.
Yeah, maybe Shane Vereen in PPR, but that's about it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Buccaneers, pitiful last week against the Case Keenum-led Vikings. However, I will say the Bucs' defense is just beat to hell right now. Yeah, the defense is ailing pretty significantly right now, and that really trickles down to the offense as well. I like Jaquiz Rodgers in this game and Deshaun Jackson in this game. I think both have very good value. However, owners beware of Mike Evans. Obviously, you're going to start him. You kind of have to start him. He's the big target in that Buccaneers offense. But he's most likely going to be guarded by Janoris Jenkins. Jenkins is a shutdown corner. Obviously, Xavier Rhodes shut down Mike Evans last week. So just be wary. Janoris Jenkins, very, very good corner and a very tough matchup for Mike Evans. I got the Giants winning this game, Brett.
Well, I can't go. You can't bet against your own team.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you there.
So, Raiders and Broncos, next matchup we're going to be talking about. Both teams coming off shocking losses to seemingly mediocre teams. It was a pretty rough week for both of them. Broncos, Trevor Siemian not looking like the Trevor Siemian from week 1 and 2. Maybe he's a Ben Roethlisberger and he can't play on the road.
Maybe.
The Broncos will be at home against the Raiders. The Raiders just looked like a hot, steamy pile of garbage.
Yeah.
I mean, Derek Carr couldn't do anything. Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper actually didn't do anything.
Yeah. I definitely expect a bounce back in this week. However, not for Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper. They've got they're going to have their hands full with Aqib Talib and Chris Harris this week. In that stout Broncos defense. I like Marshawn Lynch in this game. I think they're going to have to rely on the run quite a bit. Due to the fact that they're not going to be able to pass very well. Jared Cook, another guy to maybe mention. Broncos, if they are vulnerable, it's against running backs and tight ends. And Jared Cook, coming off a decent game last week. I like all my Broncos players, despite their poor showing last week. I still like Trevor Siemian, liking C.J. Anderson, Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. Even Jamal Charles, I still think he's going to have value in certain formats and
his touchdown run was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
he made some impressive jukes.
Yeah, he's not really getting more production, but he's doing more with it, and that might lead to more. I don't know how
they're going to use him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch moving forward. But I got the Broncos in this one.
I've got the Broncos.
All right, Colts and Seahawks, Sunday Night Football. Colts coming off what is most likely their only win without Andrew Luck against the Browns.
You don't see them putting up any points against the Seahawks?
This is going to be a rough showing for them. Don't expect any of those numbers again from the Colts, except maybe T.Y. T.Y. can, if he gets the targets and the...
he's just so talented that I could definitely see him getting those.
Yeah, he can have good games. I don't think this is one of them.
No.
But, yeah, so I'm straying away from Colts as usual without Andrew Luck. But hopefully he comes back in a few weeks. Seahawks still struggling to find a running game. However, Chris Carson is the guy to own. He's the only guy even remotely getting any work. So if you're looking at a Seattle running back, definitely going with Chris Carson. Russell Wilson showed it again last week against the Titans. He's a stud. I mean, the guy's a monster. Game. Yeah, he can really put up the fantasy points when he wants to.
Yeah.
Doug Baldwin, got to monitor this. Dealing with a groin injury. So if he's out, who do you like the most if Doug Baldwin misses time?
Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna have to say I was back and forth. I'm gonna Amara Darboh.
Dude, that's your boy from that's your boy from preseason.
Yeah, I know. No, hey, maybe. You never know.
I've seen him out there a few times.
Yeah, he's been on the stat sheet a couple of times, and with these rookie performances this year, maybe. No, I actually like Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett the most?
Yep, I think I would look to, if Doug Baldwin misses time, that would be my next go-to guy.
Yeah, I do like, a lot of people are going to look at Paul Richardson a lot, but I do think Tyler Lockett will be the more between the 20s guy. Yeah. Paul Richardson, definitely, I think he could get more touchdowns than Lockett, but I agree. I do like Lockett a lot. Pretty much no-brainer in this one, Seahawks. Okay. Come on.
Just kidding, Seahawks. The last matchup we got is Monday Night Football. We've got Redskins versus the Chiefs in prime time. The Redskins showed up. They showed up last week.
Finally.
It was impressive. Terrell Pryor did not.
Yeah.
They're doing it without him. Pretty much. That's what they've decided. Don't like him, but it's going to be a tough matchup for the Redskins versus the Chiefs.
Chiefs are looking good right now. I love Chris Thompson, however, moving forward.
Yeah.
Like we said before, he's the most talented and dynamic player for the Redskins at the moment. Rob Kelly might be back. They're saying, or Jay Gruden said he's still the number one if he does come back. So Samaje Perine, owners, if you're getting on that hype train, maybe it's going to have to wait a little bit longer for
cool
him.
Your jets.
Yeah, we're going to get going. Jordan Reed, still injury-prone as ever. Don't know if he's going to play. We'll have to see that. Terrell Pryor, again, been awful the first 3 weeks. And he's going to have Marcus Peters this week. So Marcus Peters, definitely a shutdown corner. Do not start Terrell Pryor this week. I can pretty much guarantee you he will not do anything.
Except maybe drop balls.
Even if he gets a chance, Marcus Peters is going to shut him down. I guarantee that. Sell Terrell Pryor at this point. I'm like I said in the last show, I'm pretty much done with Terrell Pryor.
Yeah.
Stock way down.
If you can still sell him for anything, scrap metal at this point.
Scrap metal. No, I mean,
just try.
The name alone, people are still high on Pryor,
so
you can get something for him. But if you could sell Terrell Pryor for, I don't know, a decent running back, and then go snag Josh Doxson, if you still want to stick with this Redskins receiving core, I really like Josh Doxson moving forward.
God, he has so much talent. He's been injured. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries, but I think with the need for more wide receiver options in Washington, I think that this is his time.
Yeah,
I've been saying that for a couple of years now, but I think this is his time.
All right, I got the Chiefs in this one. How about you, Brett?
I've got the Chiefs.
All right, that's going to conclude our Week 4 preview show. So we're going to jump into our starts and sits, the gold, if you will. This is what's going to win you your fantasy matchup for Week 4. So start at QB. Who do you guys start at QB, Brett?
Well, Russell Wilson versus the Colts. I just
don't overthink it.
Yeah, you just can't overthink. Don't talk yourself out of it just because he had a poor showing in weeks 1 and 2. Did amazing in week 3. I expect it to continue against this very weak Colts defense.
Yeah, I'm going with Andy Dalton against the Browns.
I like that pick.
Surprisingly, Andy Dalton, obviously, they finally got a little bit going last week. It still wasn't the best performance fantasy-wise for Dalton, but I think this is going to be the week where they really, really bounce back. I think Joe Mixon gets a lot of carries in this game. I think they look to pass to him quite a bit. I think A.J. Green is pretty much dominant. Brandon LaFell maybe gets in the end zone. I think it's going to be a good week for Andy Dalton. Moving on to sits, I got Cam Newton as my sit at the quarterback position this week. Playing the Patriots, again, next to droppable, I believe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely stray away from Cam Newton.
Yeah, well, I would definitely agree with that since I think he is fully droppable at this point. My QB sit is Joe Flacco versus the Steelers. He had a negative performance in London. I think if he can't lean on the back of that defense, I think that he's really going to struggle. And I think the Steelers are going to play really well against him. So I don't like Joe Flacco this week. Starts of the week for running back position. I actually I know as kind of an underperformer last week, but Jacquizz Rodgers. The Giants are the worst run defense in the league right now. They've given up the most yards to running backs. I think that bodes really well for Jacquizz Rodgers at home. They didn't get a chance to run very much against the Vikings this past week. But I would look to that. I would look to bounce back. I would look for him to get a lot more touches and a lot more opportunities to run the ball and score touchdowns.
Yeah, and this is his last chance because Doug comes back.
This is his last chance
next week. Starting for me at running back, sticking with him. I think it will be the last outstanding game for Todd Gurley for a while. Playing the Cowboys. So, yeah, Todd Gurley's my start of the week at running back. Not going to overthink that too much. Moving on to sits at running back, I'm going Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller playing the Titans. Titans have shown that they can really handle their own when it comes to running backs, at least. And Lamar Miller has been moving towards more of a split with the Deontay Foreman. Yeah. And, I'm starting to cool on Lamar Miller.
Yep, I definitely agree as a Lamar Miller owner. My sit of the week, this is interesting because you said you really liked Marshawn Lynch this week, but I just disagree. What do you like about Marshawn Lynch this week against the Broncos defense?
Well, I like the fact that the Raiders pretty much, I don't think they're going to be able to pass the ball hardly at all, and I think they're going to have to lean on the run game. Really, I like Marshawn in the fact that I think if they're going to score, it's going to be with Marshawn. Maybe Jalen Richard gets some carries here and there, but I like Marshawn a lot. But he's your sit of the week?
He is my sit of the week. I mean, I just believe in this Broncos defense. I mean, you always talk about the cornerbacks, and that's great, but right now they're the best run defense in the league. 0 rushing touchdowns allowed this year in 3 games.
All right, then.
And they have held their opponents to an average of 2.6 yards per carry. Just atrocious.
I guess they made that a focal point of their
and now
game plan last.
Exactly, but they've played a couple of bad run offense teams, but I mean they've just been really impressive against the run defense or against the run heavy offense. So I think Marshawn Lynch is going to underperform this week. But moving on to our starts of the week at wide receiver. I've got Larry Legend versus the 49ers.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah. I think he's going to have he had a great week this past week. And with John Brown still being out probably for a couple more weeks, still dealing with that sickle cell thing. It's just plagued him for a long time. I think Larry is is by far the number one option for the Cardinals.
And Carson Palmer, if he can keep up what he did last week, obviously older guys, it can be kind of up and down, but definitely a guy to look at. Larry Fitzgerald, definitely a great play this week. I'm going with Devontae Parker. Obviously, he got bailed out with the garbage time touchdown last week, but he's got the Saints this week. Incredibly good matchup. So I do believe Devontae Parker gets in the end zone this game and has over 100 yards as well. Moving on to sits at the receiver position. Stephon Diggs. I'm picking Stephon Diggs.
Really?
The big guy being talked about past couple weeks. He's got the Lions this week, and most likely Darius Slay. And
he's going to slay.
He's going to slay. He's going to slay Stephon Diggs. I don't want to compare Stephon Diggs to Brandon Cooks in the boom bust category, but I do believe there are games where Stephon Diggs can be shut down,
especially with Adam Thielen on the field.
Yeah, and I like Adam Thielen this week, but I do not expect a lot from Stephon Diggs in this game.
Well, Slayers are going to slay. But Terrell Pryor is my sit of the week. And we've already touched on him, so we don't need to go into a whole lot of detail. He's playing the Chiefs. It's not a very good matchup for him anyway.
And Marcus Peters.
And Marcus Peters. I mean, it's not a great matchup for him, even if he was an elite wide receiver, and he is far from that. Yeah. So definitely sitting him or just getting rid of him.
Moving on into tight ends. We'll go start at tight end. Travis Kelce playing the Redskins. He had an awful week last week. I think he only caught
one pass
for 1 yard.
1 yard.
Yeah, not a good showing from him last week.
But he's healthy, which is more than you can say about half the starting tight ends in the league right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know what you're going to say, so go ahead.
Starting Vernon Davis, he has proved himself that he can start when Jordan Reed is injured, which is often. He had a great week with Jordan Reed out. He has proved that he still has the talent to be that pass-catching tight end. I really like him going forward until Jordan Reed comes back, whenever and if ever that is.
Yeah, and obviously, I would have said Zach Ertz, but he's honestly, I'm not comparing him to Gronk by any means, but he's up there with, he's consistent, or he's shown consistency so far.
This year, season. I mean, he's a start every week.
Yeah, moving to sits at the tight end position, going with Cameron Brate, going up against the Giants. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. Obviously, Giants have a decent secondary. Landon Collins is a fantastic safety, and he can really shut down tight ends. Cameron Brate's my sit of the week at the tight end position.
You are not making Cameron Brate again this week.
No, I'm not.
Maybe later this year. I am sitting Jack Doyle.
Jack Doyle.
He's been a lot of people have been pretty high on him with Jacoby Brissett. He's performed well. But he's playing the Seahawks, and I just think that's a terrible matchup for the whole Colts offense without Andrew Luck. This would be an incredible game if Andrew Luck was playing, and it makes me so sad that he's not, because I love this matchup just between the two teams. Mm-hmm. But I'm sitting Jack Doyle.
All right, moving on to defenses. Starts at defense, keeping with the Seahawks and Colts. I'm starting the Seahawks. Colts are going to turn the ball over a few times. Yeah. I honestly believe the Seahawks will probably shut them out in this game. Maybe give up a field goal, but who cares about that? Who you got starting?
I actually have the Patriots versus the Panthers, which is kind of surprising to some people because the Patriots haven't shown a whole lot of sparks on defense yet. But they've played, the Saints have a pretty good I think they have a pretty high-profile offense, but they struggled a lot against Deshaun Watson and the Texans last week at home. But I have no faith in the Panthers' offense with the amount of injuries that they have and with Cam still starting. Yeah. I have no faith in them, which leads me into my sit defense of the week, the Panthers' defense. A lot of people have been high on them this year, and I agree that they are good, but not against the Patriots. Yeah, I mean, they're just going to score too many points.
You're sitting pretty much every defense against the Patriots, aside from maybe a few of the teams that have been known to stop them somewhat the past couple of years, maybe the Broncos or the Chiefs.
Or the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's about it. I'm sitting the Dolphins defense going up against the Saints. Saints much better offense than the Dolphins have faced in the past couple of weeks. So, not overthinking that. Nope. All right, so that's going to be our show for today. That's going to be our Week 4 preview. If you haven't listened to our last show, our Week 3 recap, definitely go over and listen to that. We'll have this show, obviously this will release on Thursday. We'll have our bonus episode on Friday talking about our League of Record. Definitely check that one out. Even if you're not interested in our league of record, check it out. We have news over there. We talk other things besides our league. But yeah, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the 423 Football. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Give us a like and leave your comments and reviews. Thanks for listening. We are the 423 Football Podcast.
Peace out.